Hello and welcome to this webinar. I'm Dolly Durace from the Zoho CRM marketing team. I've been with Zoho for over a year. Before Zoho, I worked in a few other companies with very different roles, ranging from being on the admin team to being a sales rep myself, and even a freelancer who had no real part in the company. All that shuffling around, along with being someone on the outside, has exposed me to a multitude of problems with different perspectives. What I'm trying to say is, I understand both the sales manager and the sales rep, which is why I'm your presenter today. A sales manager wants what's best, which is more sales with a healthy work environment. A sales rep needs a resourceful environment to be successful. Sales performance management does both. Throughout this webinar, we're going to find ways to improve what works or identify and rectify the issues that drag the performance of your team down. Most people think that all you have to do is make a sale and your work is done. And if you want more sales, all you need to do is contact more leads, follow up regularly, and you have more. Sure, that works for a while, but your competitors are still getting ahead of you. And while sales is interesting by itself, it's impossible for your sales teams to maintain the momentum while doing the same thing day after day, even here at Zoho. Like any other company, our sales needed to be managed. We needed to segment our sales, keep our teams motivated, figure out how we can improve, and plan ahead for the next step. And from these problems, we developed our sales performance tools. So, what is this sales performance management? Sales performance management, or SPM, is the practice of monitoring and guiding personnel to improve their ability to sell products or services. Or, in other words, managing your sales teams and the process of selling. Managing your team can be a challenge. We get that. But as a sales manager, it's your responsibility to go the extra mile to make sure they have all the resources they need to reach their goals. Salespeople need to be motivated to do just that. Forbes said in 2014, 42% of employees quit because of work stress. How do you combat this without lessening the workload? You take up measures to make sure your team feels like working rather than just doing their job. Your team is your most important asset, and like any other asset, it's important to manage the progress of your team. SPM tracks information about sales quotas, territories, incentive compensation, job evaluation, forecasting, and everything else you need to do just that. SPM software is used for goal setting and planning, feedback, skill development, and performance review. A recent infographic released by Badgeville shows what motivates employees. Most employees want to work in a fun and engaging environment. They want to be recognized for their efforts and given room to grow. A happy team is a successful team. Most of you already know what CRM is, and you've probably used Zoho CRM before. A typical CRM software captures the life cycle of your customers and forms a database to not only be aware of your revenue, but also forms a platform to touch base with these customers. Zoho CRM is all this and more. To find out what more we offer, you can sign up for the other webinars that will be happening till the end of Feb. But for now, let's look at the ways Zoho CRM comes equipped to manage your sales performance. I want to ask you something before we begin. How many of you can honestly say your management system leaves no room for confusion or disorientation? Meaning, there's no mess or mistakes with the way your sales teams work. When your business started, you probably didn't know the extent of your growth. As time passed, you started selling to more people in different areas and employing more people to handle this expansion. I don't have to elaborate on how messy that system can become. How do you make sure the right people get the right customer accounts and also the right amount of work? Say you own a furnishing company and David is the sales rep who can sell any sofa. He also has a northern accent and leads the north sales. At the same time, you can't overload him with all the sofa sales or he'd be doomed. That's why we have territory management, a segmentation tool, to help managers break down customers and their own sales teams into territories which makes it easier to manage. Breaking regions into territories lets you easily share accounts, identify regions that make the highest revenue, allocate the right sales reps according to their expertise to make reporting an easier process. You can distribute work so that no one is over or underworked by setting up assignment rules. See which team is doing what, as performance insights are available at the click of a button, and then set targets for each territory depending on what the territory does. Each territory also has its own forecast. When every account is properly channeled, there's less chances of missing out on deals, as some of you said on the poll. Territory management is available for the Enterprise Edition and above. The demo will be done by Kirti, one of our senior sales engineers from Zoho.
So, hello everyone. This is Kirti from the pre-sales team. So, I'll be giving you the walkthrough of the territory management function. So, the primary purpose of using the territory management within our CRM application is to categorize the workload or the lead or the workload or the customers based on specific geographic location. So if you go to the setup section of the CRM, so under users and control, you can see the option called territory management. And with the territory management function, you would be able to define multiple territories based on the geographic location or based on the continents. You can divide territories and sub-territories using the territory management option. So a simple example would be like, for instance, so if you look into this specific demo account, so we have the company called Zilka Missions, and this Zilka Missions have offices across multiple locations like Maryland, New Jersey, Florida, Texas, and California. So, in order to categorize customers based on the specific location and also to share the workload specific to the specific users, you would be able to define territory within the territory section. So, setting up territory is pretty simple. So, all you have to do is like, so whenever if you are creating a territory, so within the territory, so the first option is you can define the territory name, and so the territory name can be the name. So in case if you want, if you are creating for a specific location, so you can define the name as the territory name, and then you would be able to assign manager for that specific territory. And within the territory, you would be able to add the specific users. So for example, if I have a sales, if there is a sales team working in New York with 5 members, so for that specific New York territory, you can add those 5 users. And then within the territory option, you would be able to define permission, and then you would be able to apply the account and the deal rule. So as far as the territory management in Zoho CRM application is concerned, so the territory management will be applied to the account and the related contacts and deals. So all you have to do is you just have to define the territory criteria. So in case if you're going to categorize based on the city and the country, so you can define the city and the country as a criteria. You can define the rule criteria so that automatically the territory will get configured to the specific region. And also within the territory option, we also do have option to create sub territories as well. So if you would like to subdivide based on cities and states and cities, you would be able to define that with the territory. And once the territory configuration is done, so if you go to the account or the contacts module, so you can see a separate view, so which will get automatically configured based on the territories. And with this territory option, so the users, once they log in, so they would be able to track, they would be able to categorize records based on the territories, and then they would be able to work on that specific customers, which will help them to close deals faster based on the geographic location. So with that, so with this territory management option, it would be pretty easy for the salespeople working across different geographic location. so that they would be able to focus only on the location specific customers, which would help them to drive the sales process faster and easier.
Kirti only skimmed through the basic features. When you were recruiting, you probably employed the very best you found. But have they stayed that way? Doing the same thing every day can get even your best teammates down. Imagine your sales reps pushing 12, 13 emails a day. And by pushing, I mean really forcing themselves to just do their job. So why not make work fun? You may have heard of gamification softwares that are, at the end of the day, another monitoring tool. That's not the case with GameScope. This feature uses activities from your sales pipeline and turns them into a game. That way, not only does work get done, but it's fun as well. This is not a monitoring tool. Meant purely for fun and personal improvement, GameScope consists of games that can be started by any user in your organization, and they can pick their own opponents, either against teammates or as a group. So instead of forcing themselves to do their job, your team would automatically want to work harder, even if it's just to win against their friend. Managers don't have to spend time initiating games, but they can choose to play along as well. If there's no time for games, we have badges that are updated every day with preset criteria so users can compete with their biggest competitors, themselves. You can also make custom trophies and badges to encourage your team to focus on the activities that matter to your business. Goals become fun obstacles to complete instead of targets pushed onto employees. It gives working a positive twist. To those of you who said they lost their drive on the initial poll, this is a great way to fix that. GameScope is available for the professional edition of Zoho CRM and above.
So we are now going to view the demo for the Zoho CRM GameScope. So what if so if you have a sales team of 10 people who work on a regular basis of calling up the lead, closing the deal. So it would be pretty interesting. It would be pretty much more interesting in case if there is a contest between the sales agent within the team. If there is a contest, so then the deal tracking or the sales tracking would be an much more interesting process. So for that, we have the GameScope option within our CRM platform. So with this GameScope, you would be able to define trophies and badges for the sales team, so that so you can have some challenges within the team members. So a simple example would be who have converted more number of leads, or who have completed more number of tasks, or who have won more deals for this week or this month. So you would be able to define that through the trophies and the badges. So setting up the game scope is simple. So all you have to do is, so you just have to define the trophy and then add the trophy name. Then you can define the challenge. So in case I'm just going to create it for the leads module. So I'm just adding the lead converted as a trophy, and then you can choose the module here, leads, and the action would be the convert, so the number of leads converted. And thereby you can define the criteria. So whenever if a specific lead is converted, so you can just provide the points, and thereby you would be able to add the additional criteria for that specific trophy. So once the trophy is configured, so you would be able to define so for how many days and for how many points. So you would be able to define that, so that whenever if any specific lead is converted, so automatically it gets added to the game scope. So if once a specific lead is converted, so automatically there will be a notification. So you would be able to set this up for the leads, deals, even for the activities. You would be able to configure the game scope. So by which you can have some fun interaction between the teams on the deal closure, or based on the activities you have completed. So you would be able to set some scores for the users. So the same way you can also define badges. So based on the conversion or based on the number of tasks which is completed within 1 days or within 2 days. So you would be able to define that. So a simple example would be like, for example, if I'm just creating a new potential here. So say for instance, the potential closing date is out for tomorrow, and I'm just creating the potential. And once I update the stage of the potential as closed one, so automatically the notification will pop up, like you would be able to track those information under the GameScope.
A sale isn't made in one step. It's made of numerous sale activities that eventually lead to it. So it makes sense to not just manage your sales, but all these numerous activities as well. What if your sales process depends heavily on calls, and you're not aware that calls have dropped for a certain team, or that more calls are being made but your sales aren't going up? Zoho Motivator, a sales activity management tool, is an add on built solely for Zoho CRM. It works by turning data into valuable business insights and sheds light on key CRM issues. All the metrics you need are available in dashboards, customizable to add the metrics that matter to your business. Once you know how well you're doing, you can set targets to attain goals you'd like your team to work on. Targets can be set for any period of time, so you can even ration out your quota for the year. Contests can be set up to give your teammates a reason to fulfill these targets. They can even have a prize of cash or kind to make it worthwhile. Motivator TV is a broadcasting tool that can be used to showcase a contest, revenue generated, or any other insight you feel will encourage your team to perform better. Motivator is sold as a separate product with free and paid editions, available for any edition of Zoho CRM. You don't have to necessarily acquire the same number of licenses that your CRM has. You can add only the users whose metrics you like to concentrate on. There's also a mobile app for Android and iOS users, so you'll never miss the chance to motivate your team again.
So the Zoho Motivator, again, it is a gamification tool to track the salesperson activities based on the information updated or added within the CRM platform. So the Zoho Motivator works specific only if you have the CRM account. So you would be able to access the Motivator application. So probably you might have a question, what might be the difference between the Zoho Motivator and the gamification option in Zoho CRM. So probably people might have questions on that part. So the difference is, so in the Zoho CRM gamification option, you would be able to define trophies or badges based on a specific action. So like when a lead is converted, award 10 points to user. When a task is completed, award 5 points to user 2. So this is how you do with the Zoho CRM gamification option. But whereas what you would like to do more, so in case if you want to compare the sales target, or if you want to track the activities based on a status, like how much, so in case if you want to set up a target for a specific user or for a specific region, and if you want to track the metrics based on the sales closure, then those type of activities you would be able to track through the Zoho Motivator. So using the Zoho Motivator application, you would be able to define the KPIs. So in the Motivator, we have the component called KPIs. So this specific KPIs you would be able to define based on specific modules. And as far as the KPI option is concerned, so you would be able to create KPI for all the modules. So apart from the default KPIs, we also do have option to add new KPIs. So these are some of, so if you access the Motivator application, so these are some of the predefined KPIs which will be available with the system itself. In addition to that, you can also define KPIs by which you would be able to create a sum, average, or ratio based on the modules. So once you have defined the KPI, so you would be able to define for which modules you want to choose that. So even the custom modules are included for this KPI. So based on the information or based on the criteria within the module, you can define the KPI so that you can set target and contest for the users added within the CRM application. And once the KPIs are defined, so if you go to the KPI section, so you would be able to track the metrics. So based on the lead generated or based on the sales closure or the revenue generated, so you would be able to track the metrics. And also if you go to a specific KPI, so you can track, so in case if you want to view it uh, based on the lead created, number of leads created per year, or the number of leads converted. So you can define, so you would be able to track that using the metrics. And as far as this specific KPI is concerned, so you would be able to track the KPI based on a specific employee, based on the user, and also even based on a specific field. If you want to run the KPI based on the lead status or based on any other criteria, you would be able to choose the criteria by which you would be able to track all the information. And this Zoho Motivator gives you more insight on the activities which were configured in the CRM application. And since it also support the custom module as well, so even in case if you're creating custom module like expenses or anything, and if you want to track or if you want to configure metrics based on that, that is something possible using our Zoho Motivator application. And the other added advantage would be the TV channels. So within the TV channel, so we also do have option to uh, project the report to a television. So probably like if you, in case if you have a large screen within your sales or within your support team, so we do have the option where you can create URL, the embed URL can be created, and that can be forecasted to the television as well. So that from the big screen, the sales or the support team, they can monitor the status based on the defined KPI. They would be able to track information through a TV channel.
To grow more, you need to sell more. And there's no point in selling without direction. You need forecasts and analytics to give you a sense of which direction to take. I may work for a CRM company, but I know you're not going to store all your organization details on the software. That's where advanced CRM analytics take over. You can upload the rest of your work files from online or offline sources, which combine with your CRM data to give you accurate analytics. There are 100 plus default reports and dashboards which are automatically created. These handpicked reports will be pretty useful in analyzing your sales performance effectively. Reports are broad, Reports are broadly categorized as time-based, people-based, revenue-based reports. Each report takes a different perspective of your business to show you all the angles, so you can plan ahead. Share these analytics with your team and make sure everyone is on the same page. With this data, you get to see the big picture, where a company is and where it looks like it's going. Both Motivator and Advanced CRM Analytics address the problem of figuring out what you need to do, as mentioned in the poll. Advanced CRM Analytics are available with the integration of Zoho Reports and Zoho CRM, accessible from your Zoho CRM homepage.
So the advanced analytics integration with Zoho CRM is configured through the Zoho Reports integration. So CRM does have a predefined inbuilt reporting option. So we do offer 40 plus predefined reports. And in addition to that, we also do have a custom report option by which you would be able to create a report based on the module data. So what is the difference between the reports in the CRM application and what features are offered in the Zoho Reports add-on integration? So with the Zoho Reports add-on, so it is possible for you to configure more advanced dashboards and reports. So for example, in case if you would like to create a comparison type report, so if you want to track the sale or the potential closed last month with the current month, or if you want to track the sales metrics of last year with the current year, then to configure these comparative reports, you can use the Zoho Reports add-on. So, So maybe I can just quickly show you some of the reports which can be configured through the CRM integration. So using the Zoho Reports add-on, so you would be able to configure advanced dashboard, so where you would be able to have all the metrics in one single view. So like the number of deals you have closed this quarter, and the total number of open deals based on the deal stage, and the total revenue, expected revenue, the winning percentage. So everything you would be able to track through the Zoho Reports integration. And as far as the Zoho reports integration is concerned, so whatever data you add in the CRM application will get updated in the Zoho reports platform. And based on the added detail, you would be able to configure reports. And as far as the reports in Zoho reports application is concerned, so we have multiple options available for creating the report or the dashboard. So for the reports, for the new report, so we do have multiple options like chart view, pivot view, dashboard view, summary view, and within the chart, we have like more options. So you would be able to create dial charts, um, bar charts, so everything like much more in-depth dashboard configurations are supported with the Zoho Reports application. And also using the Zoho reports, we also do have the scheduler and the export option as well. So by which, in case if you want to share the report with your top management, you would be able to share directly from the report application itself. And so some of the dashboards, so maybe I can just show you some of the sales reports. Like, so in case if you want to have a comparison, so this is one of a comparison chart, so where you can track the sales, the potentials, or the deal closed across each quarter. And also within the reports, you can also set the drill down criteria as well, so that you can create drill down reports within the reports application. And these functionalities like the drill down capabilities, creating the comparison report, are currently not supported in the CRM report option. And for those advanced metrics, you can use the reports add-on, by which more customized dashboards and analytics based on the sales data can be configured.
So you've seen how you can monitor progress and know what's working and what's not using advanced analytics. But productivity comes from 5 activities: create, do, complete, evaluate, and repeat. Territory management creates segmentation. GameScope encourages your team to do more. Motivator ensures work is completed. Advanced analytics evaluates how all these activities have worked out and lets you know what to change. What's the use of measuring something if you can't apply those learnings to make things better? Use these insights you've gained so far to realign your territories and targets, and the circle continues. We know SPM might be new to you, and some of these features might not make sense to your business. The good thing about our SPM features is that you don't have to pick them all. Choose what you think will help out and let us know how that helps out in your business. If you have additional questions, you can reach us at this email address. You can call in to our Zoho CRM sales, or you can reply to the email that will be sent to you shortly. So that brings us to the end of the presentation today. And thank you for joining us as we looked at the benefits of sales performance management and how it can support your overall business growth. If you still have more questions, you can reach us and we'll be happy to help you out. Please don't hesitate to reach us and tell us how you feel by tagging us on Twitter and talking about this webinar. Thank you.